What up, YouTube? Trying out a new video format today. Gonna be talking night one of the NBA play-in. Hopefully gonna continue this as a series throughout the entire playoffs. Let me know if you enjoy. Starting with the Hornets and Heat, we have Khan's shooting slump continuing. Only 2 of 12 last night. He shot really poorly his last 10, 15 games. Stats are down from the rest of the season. If the Hornets want to make it out of the play-in, make any noise in the playoffs, they will need this version of Khan that we've been seeing all season. We'll need him to break out of his slump. Going hand in hand with that, we have Khan and Diabate being Charlotte's only hugely negative players in terms of plus minus. We have Khan at a minus 20 on the game, Diabate at a minus 17. Despite Diabate honestly having a pretty solid game, 8 points, 14 rebounds, he did what he did. Just in terms of plus minus, not his greatest performance. Big question from last night, obviously, is if the outcome of the game would have been different had Bam stayed. You have to imagine that it doesn't go to OT, whether that means Charlotte pulling out a win in regulation or Miami pulling away in the fourth, like they were close to doing. Tough to say, but with Bam in the game, I think the whole flow of the game is different. It's been a tight game all the way up until Bam did go down. I do think it stays that way, but I think one of the teams pulls away late in regulation. I don't think we see the overtime game that we ended up seeing. With Bam going down, 2 step-up guys for Miami ended up being Davion Mitchell and Andrew Wiggins, which isn't totally what you would expect. Tyler Hero and Norman Powell are the 2 most established scorers for Miami. You'd look to see them step up to fill that void that Bam provides on offense, but it did end up being Davion Mitchell and Wiggins absolutely took over for Miami. Very efficient game for Davion Mitchell. 12 of 24, 4 of 9 from 3, 28 points. Even more efficient for Wiggins, 10 of 18 shooting, 50% from 3. Love to see that. And then Norman Powell, only 19 minutes played, only put up 9 shots, which is a bit disappointing for Miami's only all-star this season. Definitely could have changed the flow of the game had he seen more playing time. Looking at the Hornets team as a whole, it wasn't just Khan shooting the ball poorly. LaMelo especially, 2 of 16 shooting for 3. That is abysmal. Him and Khan combined a measly 2 for 22. Absolutely cannot have that in their next playing game if they want to make it to the playoffs. They do need to step up. Get some high quality looks early in the shot clock. There's a lot of late shot clock situations last night where the Hornets are just passing the ball around the perimeter, not really getting any separation for the defenders, and just having to chuck up grenades at the end of the shot clock. Want to avoid that as much as possible, especially for a team like Charlotte. It does thrive on that pace, fast play style, chucking up threes early in the shot clock. With the exception of Kobe White and his monster game, send the game to OT, hitting some big time shots. You do want to see more contributions from the Hornets bench. They don't have the deepest rotation, but they do need more than just the 6 guys, including Kobe White in that, obviously. If they are going to make it out of the play-in, which I do hope to see. I'm glad that Charlotte pulled out the win last night. I do think that it is a much more interesting first-round matchup to see them potentially matching up against the Pistons than it would have been had the Heat been given the opportunity. Looking ahead to that potential matchup where they can hopefully make it to playing the Pistons, they will need to defeat one of either the Magic or the Sixers, whichever team loses tonight. I'm imagining it's likely going to be the Magic. I do think the Sixers are the more talented team. As the game slows down in the playoffs, I do think the Magic's efficiency issues, shooting struggles will reveal themselves a little bit more, provide some problems for them. And I do think that the Sixers will be able to win the game in transition, both on the offensive and defensive end. Unless the Magic's bench and role players can really step up, I do see them losing tonight. And then I just don't think they match up the greatest against Charlotte. I think Charlotte outruns them. And then the Magic, unless they can get a whole bunch of free throws, which they have proven they're adept at, but unless they get a whole ton of free throws, I think the Hornets can outrun them as well. Last thing for the Heat-Hornets game, obviously not the season the Heat were expecting or hoping for. Maybe expecting, definitely not hoping for. You have to imagine that this core isn't going to be back next season. Bam, they likely hold on to. All the young guys they want to hold on to. Norman Powell, first-time All-Star this season, want to hold on to him. if at all possible, as long as it's not going to cost them too much. So I do see Hero getting shipped out somewhere, wherever that may be. And then given a few years to draft some more young talent, acquire some big names in free agency, I do think that the Heat could be back towards the top of the Eastern Conference if all goes well. Heading on over to the Blazers-Suns game. 114-110 victory for the Blazers. Got a bit dicey there at the end of the third, start of the fourth for the Blazers. The energy for the Suns in that arena is electric. When they're playing well, they're one of the best defenses in the league. When they're playing badly, it is just tough to watch, honestly. Blazers took big time advantage of that. Denny obviously had a monster game. Holiday played well in spite of his efficiency problems and turnovers, but big win for the Blazers. Don't see them making much noise against the Spurs. Likely a sweep. They maybe steal one early and then use that as momentum to steal a second. But if the Spurs can get their feet under them, win both games at home, they probably just complete the sweep in 4 at the Blazers arena. With the Suns dropping into another play-in game against likely the Clippers, don't see the Warriors pulling out a win tonight. I like their odds against the Clippers. Season series is tied 2-2. None of the games have been single-digit affairs. I don't believe they've played since the James Harden, Darius Garland trade, which is going to be interesting. Clippers also have Mathurin as well for some more offensive firepower. Loss of Zubats is going to be a big deal for them against the Suns. Suns have lots of guys that can get to the rack, put pressure on the paint, and the Clippers don't have the greatest front court rotation at the moment. So I would be looking for the Suns to exploit that and hopefully get their three-point shooting going more than it was against the Blazers. If by some miracle for the Warriors, they do end up escaping the 9-10 game and match up with the Suns, I think they're dead men walking still. I think the Suns walk them down quite easily, even if Steph has a monster game. You can rely on Porzingis' health, and then the rest of the Warriors' rotation is either just too old or too young. You don't have the experience you want in the key positions on the court. So it would take a Herculean effort from Steph, and I just don't see it getting done, even if they do somehow pull out one win. The two major issues for the Suns are potential chemistry issues. We haven't seen Brooks, Booker, and Jalen Green play a lot of minutes together with all the injuries, all the different rotations that they've had to run through this season. So there is that potential for the Clippers or Warriors to cause them issues in the next play-in game. But no matter what, I do see them escaping the play-in and then just ending up getting swept by OKC. But by all regards, still a successful season for the Suns. No one expected them to be here heading into the season after losing KD and offloading Beal. The rebuild has been accelerated way faster than anyone saw it coming. Jordan Knott, great first-year coach. So Suns have a bright future ahead, even if it's not going to be realized this season. I've already kind of gone over how I see tonight's games going. I do have the Sixers beating the Magic, and I do have the Clippers beating the Warriors. But just going a little bit more in depth, Maxey is going to get his. The Magic have to know that, and so it does come down to them stopping likely PG and VJ. But you never know with the Sixers. You have guys like Oubre, guys like Grimes. They can go off any given game as well. So it is a tough matchup for the Magic. For Philly, it is likely going to come down to protecting the paint, protecting the rim, and just not letting the Magic get to the free throw line as much as they've been able to do throughout this season. It is likely going to be a pretty high-scoring affair, especially if the Sixers have anything to say about it. I do see them trying to play in transition as much as possible tonight. With the Warriors-Clippers game, I already kind of mentioned it, but the Warriors they don't have the experience you want in certain positions, and then at other positions, they have guys that are older than they would like, that have to be part of the rotation. You have Al Horford, he's declined since his years in Boston. Porzingis, obviously, whatever respiratory issues he has, he's not a reliable player. Can't count on him to be playing loads of minutes. And then Curry, obviously, coming off of his injury, is going to do his best. He's going to do Steph Curry things, but I don't see it being enough. The Clippers are just a more complete team. And with Kawhi having his best season ever this year, I just don't see the Warriors pulling out the unlikely upset. Lastly, for today's video, just quickly going into the round one matchups that we have confirmed and how I see them playing out. We don't know who's going to be playing against OKC quite yet. I don't think it matters. I think it's a sweep either way. With Lakers against Houston, even if Luka does somehow come back at some point during this series, he's not going to be at full strength. I do think first flawed as Houston is with all their point guard issues, I do still think they pull it out in 6. LeBron, he's great at this point in his career. I do think he's too old to pull the Superman gimmick, put his whole team on his back, especially with the flawed rotation that the Lakers have. They really don't have a great secondary ball handler with both AR and Luka out. Nuggets T-Wolves. We see this matchup a lot in the playoffs. I do think it was closer these last few seasons than it will be this season. This is the best we've seen the Nuggets in the Jokic era. And the Timberwolves, bit of a down season for them. They've taken a step back. McDaniels has improved. Randall, his efficiency issues are likely going to rear their head again. Gobert and Conley only getting older. Conley's almost completely out of the rotation at this point. And then Ant obviously has that injury, isn't going to be playing up to his usual standard. Bones Highland, Ayo Dosunmu, going to do their best to pick up the slack for Minnesota's bench, along with Naz Reid, the only other stalwart there. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think the Nuggets just have too much firepower. So I'm taking the Nuggets in 6, maybe even 5. And then Spurs, I think it's a clean sweep against the Blazers. Blazers are a talented team, young team. Denny is on his way to superstardom. I don't think he's there quite yet. I do think that they have some holes in the roster that they do need to patch up this offseason, and then just some further development from all their young guys. Shaden Sharp, Scoot Henderson, Klingon. In the next few years, they can definitely be a scary team, scary matchup in the playoffs. I don't think they're at that level quite yet. Heading on over to the East. Again, we don't quite know the Pistons matchup. I don't think it's going to be a sweep for the Pistons. This core has yet to win a playoff series. They were close against the Knicks last season. Bit of controversy at the end of a few of those games there. Lost in 6. They are better this season. 3-point shooting is a big issue for the Pistons. As the game slows down in the playoffs and they want to get more out of each possession, that is potentially less of an issue, especially if they're matching up against a team like the Sixers or the Hornets, where there's not tons of rim protection. They should be able to get some high quality looks near the rim. But I don't see it being a sweep, just again because the Pistons have yet to win a series with this core. And I do think it is honestly beneficial for them to lose a few games, take that experience under the belt, use it moving forwards. So I do have the Pistons winning in 6, regardless of who they play against. Cavs Raptors, interesting matchup because the Raptors did, I believe, sweep the season series with the Cavs. In spite of that, I do have the Cavs winning in 5, probably. I don't believe they've played since the James Harden trade. I do think it makes it a tougher matchup for the Raptors. Raptors, they have a lot of issues in terms of stopping the Cavs' 3-point shooting. Cavs, obviously, one of the most prolific 3-point shooting teams in the league. They have guys like Keon Ellis, Jalen Tyson, Sam Merrill. And then, obviously, you have Donovan Mitchell and James Harden that can be big volume guys as well. So if the Cavs go cold, they could potentially lose a few easily winnable games. But for the most part, I do think they win this matchup. I think the Raptors get 2 out of the Cavs, but I do see this being over in 5 or 6. I'm inclined to say 5. I think if Cleveland can win both of their home games, I think it's over in 5. I think if the Raptors steal one, then we're going to see a 6-game series. Knicks Hawks. This is the only one I believe where I'm predicting. I suppose Rockets Lakers is technically an upset, but not really with Luka and AR out. Knicks Hawks is the only series round 1 where I'm predicting a true upset. I do think the Hawks match up against the Knicks a lot better than a lot of people are expecting. Brunson and Cat, if the Hawks can pull them into a lot of actions, then cause a lot of problems. Cat, as we all know, very prone to foul trouble. And with the sheer number of guys that the Hawks have that can get to the rim, draw free throws, you have Jalen Johnson, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels even, Kuminga off the bench, obviously. I do think they can cause issues. The Knicks are going to have to be on point with their role players. Going to need a big series from Anunoby, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, if they are going to pull this out. I don't think it's as easy an out for the Knicks as people think, and I do in fact think that the Hawks will take this one in 6. Last matchup for round 1, Celtics against either the Sixers or Magic. If it's the Sixers, I think it's a sweep. If it's the Magic, I also think it's a sweep. I think Boston is playing some of the best basketball in the league right now. Tatum's rounding back into form just in time for the playoffs. JB, obviously first team All-NBA talent. I don't think it totally matters what the matchup is. I imagine it's a sweep either way, especially with no Embiid for the Sixers. Even if I believe the matchup went to 5, 6, 7 games, I think Embiid is still supposed to be out. Could be wrong about that. Even with Embiid, I don't think it makes a difference. I do think it is going to be a sweep in spite of how the season series went between them. All of those matchups were pretty early on in the season, so I don't think it says a whole lot about the state of the rosters right now. With the Magic, same things. We saw the Celtics bench dismantle the Magic starting lineup last game of the season. It was a big win for the Celtics, just in terms of confidence. Obviously, they played against the Magic last season in the playoffs. Also won it there, 1 in 5 games. It was a bit tougher than they would have liked. They saw some injuries in that series that definitely impacted them in the next series against the Knicks. But I do think that the Magic have taken a step back in terms of their effectiveness against the Celtics this year. I don't think they'd have any issues in dismantling the Magic in 4. Yeah, that's all my predictions for round 1. You can let me know if you enjoyed this style of video in the comments. And either way, I'll probably be back for day 2 tomorrow.